Hey, what's up everybody? It's Mike B with Bombero Buzz VW, and today I apologize to my VW subscribers because today's video, it has to be about that truck right there. It's a 2003 Silverado, and man, needs a new water pump. So what you're gonna get to see is how a layman, water-cooled guy who usually works on VWs, air-cooled, and don't have those kind of cooling problems is gonna get a water pump into his truck, and ain't no special tools, not a professional, just gonna show you how I got it done. So let's get to it. And so my disclosure goes like this up front. Basically, make sure you disconnect your negative cable lead, use the proper coolant for your vehicle, and dispose of it properly too. That's it. Well, we got to start by getting this cover off. So you're going to see these little plastic grommets in these areas, and I'll show you. I already took most of them off, but how you pop one out. So I'll start by getting this intake out of the way. It was on the truck when I bought it. Don't have any problems with it, but I'm going to do it minimalist and basically just undo the clamps here and just try and pop this off and get it laid off to the side. Okay, got that off and laid off to the side there. Now I'm going to get this upper hose pulled off, and all it is I don't think these are the factory clamps, so it looks like maybe this radiator might have been replaced before and they just used these clamps. But go ahead and get this upper hose off. All right, hose looks in good shape at least. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and pull the bottom one next and get this pan under there and start catching some of that fluid. And I'll show you where this lower hose is, right here. Well, here's a view of it. Just broke the lower hose off and letting it drain down there into that pan. Like I said, there is at the bottom of your radiator a sketchy plug that you can pull out, but man, when they get old you risk breaking it and or losing it, so I'd rather just drain it from the lower hose. All right, I'll get the rest of this upper hose off. There's another clamp right there, and get it out of our way. All right, there's the upper hose off. You see this end's nice and clean, didn't give me any trouble. This end definitely had some issues. Look how terrible that is, and I had to get a pair of channel grips on there, channel locks, and twist. You want to be twisting these as you're pulling. So I had one hand pulling and the other twisting with some channel locks to get that off. I'll show you where that connected to the water pump. Right there. You think I had some problems there? The thing is, I still didn't see any evidence of leakage from there, but you know, that's got to be changed, man. The evidence of leakage is coming from the bottom of this water pump, and I'll show you once I get it pulled. But we're at a place we need to take this fan shroud off now, so you can see where those hoses on top of it were in the way. They're gone. The intake is gone, so we can pop this shroud off. And I'll show you. It's just a couple more buttons, like what you saw earlier there and there. So I'll pop those off and we'll get this out. All right, I got those two bolts out, and this upper half will come right out. Okay, now we got some access and we can look at things. See the lower half of that shroud. I'm gonna try to keep it in place at least for now, unless I have to get it. That clutch fan has to come off now. All right, now to get that clutch fan off, it's a 36 millimeter nut that has to be turned, or an 1.7/16. In my current toolkit, I only have an 1.5/16. So I did rent this for 70 bucks, and we'll use it to get that off, and I'll return this and get my money back. All right, so I don't have anybody to help me video this, so I'm gonna show you the way that I have to do this. I have a 15 millimeter on the tension pulley, and I'm gonna put pressure on it going that way. And then that nut right there is 36 mil. I'm gonna put this on it, and I'm gonna hammer it with a couple of pops and hope that it breaks free. It's just the same. It's counterintuitive, but it is lefty-loosey and righty-tighty, so I'm going to be hitting it that way. So, show you, I'm going to get my foot up there. I'll be pushing down on that. And then we're going to take this, and I'm going to hit this way a couple times and see if we can break it free. And I don't think I can hold the camera while I do it, but that's what's going to be happening. Okay, there it is. That broke it. I felt it. So you see it turning now. Now I'm just going to spin this fan off. Okay, there it is. We'll get this out, set it up, and we'll be taking that serpentine belt off next. And here's why video is good. You can see up here where you usually have the sticker with the diagram of how your pulley goes. It's worn off on this 03 Silverado, so it's nice to have a look back if I need to about how this belt goes. Even though I know, because I've done it not too long ago, replaced this tension pulley and this belt, so it's going to be tight. So basically, I've got this 15 millimeter on here. I'm going to pull it that way. It's going to put some slack right here, and I'll be able to pull this belt off. But I can show you how I'm going to try to take slack. So I've got the oldest trick in the book. I've got this wrench on there because I don't feel like going to get a bigger socket. Look at all that slack it lets me pull in the belt. So now I'm able to get that belt off. And we are good. The belt is out of the way. We are finally getting some access. I'll show you one more thing I'm going to do. If you remember, this is the lower hose that I disconnected down there to drain. Well, I'm gonna also disconnect it from the water pump here. And to get this one off, I'll show you what I'm in. I'm just using channel locks to twist it like this and break the seal, and then I'll be able to pull it off. And once that's off, it'll expose and give you access to the two heater hoses. Looks like one's got the factory clamp and one an aftermarket one, so basically going to get those clamps off and pull these two heater hoses off. And there they are. Those hoses are disconnected. This one was easy. Looks like it's been pulled before. This one had the factory clamp on it, probably for whatever reason, but it was difficult. But I got it off. So next, we're not going to worry about the tension pulley yet. I'm going to get these 10 millimeter bolts to pull this pump off. And like I said, no fancy tools. If you've got some pneumatic, that'd be great. And I do hope to get some. I'd love to have an air ratchet. But for now, this stuff gets me through my jobs, and I'll keep rolling with it. But let me get all of these out, 10 mils, like I said, and we'll pull this pump. Okay, we got one out, and basically 5 of the 6 are loose. But this one here, I'm gonna go ahead and take this tension pulley off so that I can have easier access to that one, and that should be the last one that's stopping me from getting this pump off. So just like all the others that I haven't mentioned, I'm hitting them with some penetrating oil and letting them sit for a little while. But there's 1, 2, there's a third one under there, 15 mil. So I'll pop those 3 off and get this housing off. So the third one under there is a little sneaky, but like I said, no whining about not having pneumatic tools. Just make do with what we got, use whatever leverage we can, and get her done. There she goes. Now see, you drive one of these, you don't have those kind of problems. Air cooled, water cooled. There you go. You can see that these gaskets, I'm sure they kind of just pulled off. You can see the new areas, but look at this old area that was broken. And that is where I think that the leak was. And it was pretty bad. So it doesn't take a genius to see that it was time for a new water pump. And, ooh, that's bad. We'll get it filled up with some new coolant after it's in there, and everything else is good to go. All right, so that's pretty much where the water pump is going to mate to the block, and I've cleaned those surfaces really good on both sides. Brake cleaner, razor, some really light sandpaper. So we're going to get the new one in, and here it is. It's a Gates. I went ahead and got it with the thermostat. It's just not one of the things that you want to probably try and hold on to your old thermostat. Just go ahead and get one with the new thermostat on it. Save yourself some trouble. It came with the good metal gaskets that I like. So we'll get these put on the back here. And I'm pretty much just going to transfer these bolts where they are into the new one, and we'll get it dropped in. All right, I went ahead and put the bolts in, and I've hung the gaskets on there so they'll stay in place. Nothing goes on these. It's the metal kind. And I'm just gonna, I won't have anybody to video, but I'm gonna lower this into place and then just start getting some of these threaded in and making sure that I don't drop my gaskets along the way. All right, water pump's back on. 3 bolts on this side, the same 3 over here on this side. Heater hoses are reconnected and the lower hose is connected. So before I put my fan on and be in the way, I'm going to go ahead and put the tension pulley on and get my serpentine belt in place, and then we'll put the fan on. Well guys, there it is, back together. No sense in going in reverse. Same way I took it down, I put it back together. And I'll talk a little bit about just the coolant. Make sure you use your proper coolant. I'm using the Dexcool 50/50. It's the orange stuff. So where to look for leaks in the end is, you know, here's your upper hose. Trace it down. That's where it connects to the pump. Those heater hoses aren't leaking. The lower hose isn't leaking. And down here is not leaking. So the place to worry about for me is those gaskets right there. You can see where the brand new pump now mates up to the block, and before that was kind of obscure because they were all, you know, same color. But right there is the seal where the metal gaskets go, and I've checked that a couple times and on the other side, so no leaks. Everything's staying cool. It's running at about 200 on the temp gauge. So the main thing is, and there's videos on this, you know, when you fill this back up, leave the lid off, fill it up to your fill line, turn on your heater, run the car. About 2,000 RPMs for a minute is what I did. When you come back out here, this will have lowered and started to fill up your system. Fill it up again to the line and repeat the process until you come here and your coolant is staying at the proper level. That's about it. So there you go. It's about a week later and no leaks yet. Everything's running nice and cool. So, you know, there you go. Save yourself some money. Change your own water pump. And don't forget, if this video helped you out, to like and subscribe. And thanks for checking it out. I'll catch you on the next one.